From all-star player to history-making lines person, in her young career so far, Kirsten Welsh is confidently carving her own path in the hockey world. The Port Perry native made headlines last year when she became the first woman to officiate in the OHL, but has had many incredible opportunities to showcase what she can do in just 3 years of doing this. Her leadership in the women's reffing space and her passion for growing that side of the game is infectious, and her humility speaks for itself. Here is some of my conversation with Kirsten Welsh.
What has it meant to you to be a first and to hold space in the Ontario Hockey League?
Yeah, it's honestly been quite breathtaking. It's hard to put words into this whole experience this year. I mean, it's been a first for a lot of people, but honestly, I've had immense, like, enormous amount of support through all of the hockey community, whether that's supervisors, whether that's players. It's really everyone's just getting on board with this movement of getting familiar with having a female in the league, and that's all I could really ask to be a part of. But it's just the whole movement. Being a part of that progress is honestly incredible. It's truly a dream come true.
I feel like it takes, a village to probably get to where you are now. How were you supported in your development as a young player that would have gotten you to where you are now to be able to hold the positions that you do?
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously growing up in Ontario, I was extremely fortunate because Ontario is a huge hockey hub. I mean, the world knows that just from, the National Hockey League and even like the PWHL is a huge league for like women and I mean, girls in high school who are coming up and trying to like make themselves known for possibilities for after that. So I think I don't know, just the support of having, like, obviously my dad kind of guide me as a child through hockey. I didn't know what I was doing, but he kind of always was looking out for me and setting me up for the best situation possible. So playing, AAA boys hockey for the Oshawa Generals, Clarington Toros growing up was really cool. I think playing that high level boys at a young age really taught me to develop my skills early and kind of keep up with that pace. And that kind of really helped my skating. Going to multiple skating lessons with Scary Mary, Rob DeVoe, like the big, these people, like the amount of hours, like I went to do like extra practice, just like one-on-one drills, like that little stuff like builds up over time. And, by the time I was in high school, my senior, sophomore year of high school, like I got some offers from D1 schools after playing for like the Whitby Wolves in the PWHL. Like we go to tournaments, and like in those tournaments we're subject to scouts who come up from the States, and that's kind of like what our goal is, because as a hockey player it's kind of hard to have, like, I don't know, just like a set path other than getting a scholarship for school. So at that age, at the time, I never knew that this could have been like a possibility. And I think it's still, a lot of girls don't really consider that. And that's the whole point of this, right? It's just to get it out and get it known that this could be a possible, career path for women who are graduating from high level hockey. So I don't know, I've had like a tremendous amount of support with the reffing aspect after I graduated. People reaching out to me, people wanting to help me and develop on that side of things. Like there's hockey and there's reffing. Those are two very separate like point of views per se. So it's just kind of taking it, day by day and trying to be a sponge and absorb everything I can from everyone I meet, and just trying to, just get the best outcome from it all. So it's honestly a pretty crazy journey to be a part of, and it's been incredible so far.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get into the reffing side of things then? Because I've honestly first of all, I've always wondered why are there no female refs? Like that's something I remember. I grew up watching. I mean, I'm a big Leafs fan. Like I grew up watching hockey in a hockey family, and I've always just, even as a little kid, was like, why aren't there any women? Like this is crazy. And I've been curious about what that path would look like to get there. And so what was that, or what was that like for you?
Yeah. Honestly, I just like I said, I never really expected to be a referee post playing days. I just kind of figured after I graduated, I would go somewhere and play somewhere, whether that was in a women's professional league or overseas or something, just to kind of keep in the game. And I never really considered, reffing to be a possibility. And I was reached out, my senior year. So my graduating class, I had, so this gentleman by the name of Stephen Walkham, he is the president of all like officials in the NHL. Essentially, he lives in Pittsburgh, and he reached out to my assistant coach asking if there's anyone interested in trying to go to this NHL combine, it's called. And this combine is specifically kind of made for like hockey players who are trying to, switch and try reffing and seeing, what their opportunities could be there based on like your skating, your strength, your work ethic, your adaptability. And it's also for like referees too, who have been like working for a long time, who want to get scouted from people, in higher leagues. So it's a really good opportunity for exposure, and that's the whole point of it. So that was my first experience reffing in 2019. And honestly, ever since, there's been opportunities that came every single year that I've gone. And I think it's just, they're looking for athletes. Like, that's all it is. They're looking for people who are willing to work, who are willing to, improve themselves every time they get on the ice. Like, it's just being coachable and being somebody who's like willing to succeed. And like, it takes a certain type of person to be a ref. Like, not everyone can do it. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely, you have to have thick skin. And I just think, being in that hockey community my entire life, you kind of get used to that. So that's why I'm trying to, get this message out, is like, this could be a possibility for like the future generations of females coming up the ranks, especially in Ontario, especially in Canada, who, go down to the States, maybe even stay in Canada to do school, graduate, and don't really know where to look, but want to stay in hockey. Try reffing. It's something you've been doing, probably for a long period of time in your life. So why not, give it a shot? And so I did, and I never looked back, and things have been truly, truly phenomenal. It's been, like I said, a dream come true ever since. So why not, right?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I didn't realize it was like so new to you, like that you only started really about 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been, I'm not kidding, like, it's been a whirlwind of insane. It's just been so crazy. I wouldn't have it any other way, like, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
it's just like the opportunity's there, and it's like, why not take it? Like, the time is now, so it's just,
yeah,
I've had it's super good, like, super fortunate, the timing and, the relationships I've made throughout this whole experience. But it's honestly just a really great time to get involved in this and, try it out, because it's the way, like I said, it's the way of the social movement we're a part of right now. So being able to be a part of that is crazy.
I feel like we're watching a major trend in hockey right now where they're trying, or at least wanting, to be more inclusive, trying to push the message of hockey is for everyone. So how do you think the game can be grown at all levels? Because you're obviously really familiar with like growing up and playing minor hockey, and then playing a little more professionally and doing what you do now. Like, how do you think that we need to be growing the game?
Totally. And I just think it's getting it more, like, getting hockey more available for, everyone, like, whether you're a lower income average family, whether you're, on the outskirts, not close to like a downtown hotspot, like, just getting it available and getting it, like, these starter programs out, I think is really huge. But also the inclusion part too, and to remind people who have been in this community and who are in this community to, be inclusive and invite your friends out to play. And don't, like, it's just, hockey should be a sport that includes everyone. It should be something everyone can go to and have a good time and, just enjoy. That's the whole point of it, right? Like, that's why we play. So it's really important to keep that in mind. And, all the communities, especially like females, colored, lower average income people, like families, like, it's everyone that, who would want to play. We should have that option available to them. And just, my role, I just want to work with, make it available to like females. And that's kind of like my niche right now, is just like focusing on female hockey players. And like, I obviously support, girls who are growing the game on the female side, trying to close the pay gap for athletes. But I want to kind of be like the ambassador for like referee females and be like, this is also, a path that you can consider. Like, I just want, as much as we can get it out and get this, like, movement out and available to everyone, that's the whole goal. So it's definitely crazy to be a part of, and I'm so glad it's moving in the direction it is moving, because it's much needed. Like, it's much needed.
So who have you been looking up to then? Or do you really feel like you're kind of the face of this movement right now, which kind of maybe is a lot of pressure, but like
Yeah, no. I mean, it's there's been plenty of women before me who I have mentored, and it's, you
Hmm.
know, females who've been doing this for a while and who haven't necessarily had the opportunities that I've had. It's very humbling because again, it's like a lot to do with timing right now. And girls who have been, you know, reffing for 20 years plus, like they just, I look up to them and I'm like, I want to be in that position one day. Or like
Hmm.
even, you know, the other like females that I'm working the AHL with, like I try and like the girls who have been reffing and who are doing AHL, I try and like mentor them and try and talk to them and see, you know, how things have been going and how they're handling it. And if there's like, you know, something that we can connect on, I just try and make that relationship because I mean, it's a first for
Hmm.
a lot of people. And so just to kind of be a part of that is phenomenal. But even like the women Olympic team winning, like Team Canada, like that was huge. I don't know if you saw the stats from like the viewers, but like that is massive. Like some of the biggest recorded, like the largest recorded views in history almost, like
It
for
was,
any
yeah, over
program.
4 million people. Over
That's what
4
I'm
million people
saying. Like,
watched.
let's
Yep.
invest in these women. Like, we are like, there's just no like numbers speak for themselves. So it's like,
Yeah.
this is kind of like what I mean by that. It's like that's a perfect example of like why we
Yeah.
need to invest and like have a league, like a sustainable league for these women to participate in. And like that's I mean, if they had a league, like I would love to work in it one day and like maybe, you know, also like help out that side of things. It's just I have
Hmm.
opportunities on the men's side, but like I also just want to support the women's side as well and like grow that as much as I can through this whole expander and like get the message out that like this is like the way that I just it's just, you know, it's continuous support. It's like that's all it is. It's sponsorship. It's, you know, it's closing that gap. And I mean, like the National Players Association for like the hockey players NHL, like that took a while to kind of develop and get a league and get like a pay that was negotiable. So that's exactly what the women are doing now, and it's going to take time. And I just the more we can get it out, the more we can get it talked about. That's the best thing that we could ever imagine. So this Olympics just proved it. So it's getting better. It's definitely better than where it was, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's just a movement that we're a part of, and I kind of look to them to help, you know, drive the way because it's all like the hockey community, right? So
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, like we were just talking about these numbers, like there's obviously an appetite and an excitement around women's hockey. And so, with that
yes.
in mind, I mean, how close do you think we actually could be to getting a professional women's hockey league?
Yeah, honestly, I think we're pretty close. Like I hope to see it. I mean, personally, I don't know the numbers and I don't know like the back end of it, but I'd hope to see it within the next 5 years. I think that's, you know, we're working up to like that level. And again, like I'm not kind of involved in like the back end of it, but you know, I do see, you know, how much they're progressing and how many, yeah, like the appetite for women's hockey. Like it's straight up, it's people want to see it because it's entertaining. So if we can somehow create a league for like the best players in the world and like to all like come together and be able to, you know, make something sustainable, that's the whole goal. So it's just hopefully that's in the near future. But yeah, it's just really great to be a part of that and just kind of see what they're doing and support it as much as they possibly can. So
Hmm. And where would you like to end up? Like ideally, I know you were saying, you know, you'd like to be a part of growing the women's game here if you can, but like where are your
yeah.
sights kind of set right now?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard to say because like again, like it's my first year officiating in the NHL or not, sorry, the OHL. It's my first year officiating the AHL and the ECHL. Like these are all first for me. So like I honestly have no idea what the expectations are or should be. And I'm like I don't want to like say like, you know, the NHL and that's like a goal of mine for like, you know, next year or something crazy because like I would like to see this league, the leagues that I'm doing now, like conquered and like, you know, like females, like the reputation of the females working those leagues, like I want that to be accepted fully. And like I want us to be like at the most ready, um, just in a good position to whoever is called up, you know, as a first female in the NHL. I just want that individual to be fully ready for everything that's going to come at them because like it's not an easy hurdle. Like it's like working in the AHL, working in the OHL, ECHL, like these are very, you know, they're professional hockey leagues and it's definitely a stepping stone to getting to the NHL. And I think that's the whole goal for all like this whole movement of having female officials in the AHL. And of course, you know, it's nice to think about, but my goals for myself are just every time I get on the ice is just to do the best I could possibly do. And like, whether, I don't know where that's going to take me or what opportunities that's going to provide, but in my eyes, like I've had like countless, you know, incredible opportunities that I've already had this year. So it's just, I just would like to, you know, continue that and be able to be given more opportunities to skate and, you know, develop a credibility that females they can compete in this league. So again, just kind of like for the future generations for girls to come, like that's my ultimate goal here. And I mean, everything else is just like extra on top of that. Like I'm just so grateful, and like I don't want to think too far ahead, because I'm trying to soak it in everything, like every day of what I'm getting exposed to now. So it's crazy.